Hello everyone, myself Himangini Sana. Welcome you all once again with the same tagline, Leave Your Lifeline with Pharmaline. Today we are going to discuss about the drug schedules. Drug schedules are very important to know for the retailer, seller, pharmacist as well as for the normal patient because it contains all the information about its potential and about its risk of abuse. So let's come to the slides and know more about the drug schedules. Drug schedules are categorized in 5 further categories: Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4 and Schedule 5. Let's take a quick review of all 5 categories. Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 are the drugs with high potential for abuse, whereas Schedule 3 and Schedule 4 are having the low potential for abuse. Schedule 5 drugs are mainly antidiarrheal or antitussives. Take the example of all 5 schedules. Schedule 1 example is marijuana cannabinase. Schedule 2 example is phenyl opium and amphetamine. Schedule 3 example is Tylenol. Schedule 4 example is alprazolam and Schedule 5 example is cough preparations including robitussin, phenergens, etc. Moving towards the further classifications of the schedules. These are from A to Y. So have a quick review on all these schedules. Schedule A include performer performs, application issues, renewal, etc. Schedule B includes rate of fee for test or analysis by CTL or government analyst. Schedule C includes the list of biologicals and special products applicable to special provision. Schedule C1 include list of biological and special products applicable to special provision. Schedule D includes list of drugs that exempted from provision of import. Schedule E1 is including the list of poisonous substance under the Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani system. Schedule F include the space equipments and supplies required for blood bank and minimum requirement for grant of license to procure blood components from whole human blood. Schedule J consists the list of disease and ailments that drugs should not claim to cure. Schedule K consists the list of drugs that are exempted from certain provision regarding manufacture. Schedule M contains the requirements of manufacturing premises, GMP requirements of factory premises, plants and equipments. Schedule M1, M2 and M3 consist the requirements of factory premises of manufacture of homeopathic medicine, cosmetics, and medical devices respectively. Schedule N consists the list of equipments to run a pharmacy and Schedule O consists the standards for disinfectant fluids. F is further classified into 3 categories, that is F1, F2 and F3 or FF. So F1 is further categorized into part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 includes provision applicable to production of bacterial and viral vaccinations. Schedule J part consists the list of disease and ailments that drugs should not claim to cure. Part 3 includes provision applicable to list of drugs that are exempted from certain provision regarding diagnostic agents. Schedule M contains the requirements of standards of surgical dressings. F3 consists the standards for sterilized and medical equipments. And FF consists the standards for ophthalmic preparations. The requirements of having the list of substances required to be used under medical supervision and labeled accordingly. And medical devices include list of substances that should be sold by retail only on prescription of RMP, that is registered medical practitioner. Schedule P is having a life period or expiry of drug. P1 having a pack size of drugs. Q is divided into 2 parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1 consists the list of dyes, color, pigments permitted to be used in cosmetics and soap. Part 2 consists list of color permitted in soaps. Schedule R contains the standards for mechanical contraceptives. R1 consists the standards of medical devices. S consists the standards for cosmetics. T consists the requirements for GMP factory premises for Ayurvedic Siddha Unani drugs. And U consists the manufacture, raw materials and analytical records of drugs. Now, Schedule U1 consists the information regarding manufacturing raw materials and analytical records of cosmetics. Schedule V having the standards for patent or proprietary medicines. Schedule W list contains the list of drugs marketed under generic names. Schedule X consists the list of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Schedule Y contains the requirements and guidelines on clinical trials for import and manufacturing of new drugs. Schedule 1 drugs includes high potential for abuse.
No accepted medicinal use in the US as well as in India. Less accepted safety for use into treatment in the US and India may be used for research purposes by a properly registered individual. Examples heroin, etc. Schedule 2 drugs are high potential for abuse, has a currently accepted medicinal use in the US as well as in India. It having abuse of substance may lead to severe psychological and physical dependence. Example morphine, fentanyl, etc. Schedule 3 drugs abuse potential less than substance in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 has a currently accepted medicinal use. Abuse of substance may lead to moderate to low physical dependence or high psychological dependence. Example anabolic steroids, ketamine, etc.
Schedule 4 drugs. These abuse potential less than substance in Schedule 3 has a currently accepted medical use. Abuse of substance may lead to limited physical or psychological dependence related to substance and include Schedule 3. Example alprazolam, phenobarbital, etc. Drugs. They are low potential for abuse related to Schedule 4 has a currently accepted medical use. Some Schedule 5 products may be sold in limited amounts without a prescription at the discretion of the pharmacist. However, if a physician wishes a patient to receive one of these products, it is preferable to provide a prescription. Example, cough syrups including all these. Schedule A indicates or contains the information of the specimen of prescribed forms necessary for obtaining license, permits, certificates, intimations, and so on. So it contains different types of forms like they contain certificate of test of analysis, they contains applications for license to import drugs, they contains applications for license to import drugs specified in Schedule X, they contains a form undertaking to accompany an application for an import license, and they contain the applications for permission approval for manufacture of new drug formulations. Schedule B. These contains the fee for test or analysis. There are different fees. You can see that fee for test or assay of drugs, for microbial test or assay, for identification test, and for physical test. B1. They are generally having the fee for test or analysis by the Pharmacopoeia Laboratory for Indian Medicines, that is PLIM. Example, determination of lethal dose LD50 to 10. Schedule C. These includes biological and special products such as sera, vaccines, antigens, toxins, antitoxins, insulins, bacteriophages, solutions of serum, proteins intended for injection, etc. Schedule C1 includes other special products such as digitalis preparations, fish liver oil, ergot preparations, liver extract, vitamins, hormones, etc. These are labeled with the words caution. It is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision. Schedule D provide extent and condition of exemptions regarding import of drugs. Schedule D1 contains information and undertaking required to be submitted by the manufacturer or his authorized agent with the application form for a registration certificate. The details required are particulars for the manufacturer and manufacturing premises, particulars of the manufactured drugs to be registered under registration certificate, undertaking to declare the manufacturer should comply with all the conditions imposed on the registration certificate. D2. Here the information is required to be submitted by the manufacturer for registration of a bulk drug formulation special products for its import to India. Schedule E is omitted as per the rules, but Schedule E1 is included, which consists the list of poisonous substance under the Ayurvedic and Siddha Unani system of medicines. These Ayurvedic systems includes drugs of vegetable origins like bhang, datura, jaifal, etc., drugs of animal origins like snake poisons, drugs of mineral origins like hartala or parada, that mercury, etc. The container of the medicines for internal use should be labeled conspicuously with the words caution to be taken under medical supervision both in English and Hindi language. F includes the requirements of the functioning and preparations of a blood bank and or for preparations of blood components. General blood bank locations, infrastructure requirements, staffs and equipments required, etc. Minimum requirements for grant of license to procure blood components from whole human blood. Schedule F is further divided into three parts: Schedule F1, F2 and F3. F1 give the details of the standards of bacterial vaccines, antivirals and diagnostic antigens made from any microorganism pathogenic to man or other animals. F2 contains the standards for surgical dressings that includes bandage cloth, absorbent gauze, rolled bandage, etc. Schedule F3 contains the standards for umbilical tapes like umbilical polyester tapes, cotton tape, etc. Schedule FF. It lays down standards for ophthalmic preparation, that is eye drops and other eye products. It contains the part 1, part A, part B. Part A contains the ophthalmic solutions and suspensions, whereas part B contains the ophthalmic ointments. So these should be labeled with a particular information, that is the schedule that part 1 substance or ophthalmic solution should having the cautions like use the solutions within 1 month after opening the container, not for injections. Do not touch the dropper tip or other dispensing tip to any surface, since this may contaminate solutions. Ointments, ophthalmic ointment should have sterile when dispensed, free from foreign matters, and their label contains warning like if irritation persists or increase, discontinue the use and consult physician. Listed as Schedule G medicines carry on the label a caution. A caution includes it is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision. The caution is conspicuously printed and surrounded by a line within which there should be no other words. Like in the example you are seeing, it is necessary to make proper bill of sale. Records of purchase and sale of these medicines must be maintained for a period of 2 years. These medicines includes like hydantoin, insulin, metformin, etc. H drugs. These are most commonly used schedules as it includes the prescription drugs, that is, drugs and medicines which must be sold by retail only when a prescription by RMP is produced. RMP stands for Registered Medical Practitioner. The time and date of prescription must be noted. The drug label must display the text RX means you take and Schedule H drug. The warning should be there to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medicinal practitioner only prominently, as you can see in the example. The drug is specified in Schedule H and comes within narcotic and psychotropic substances as in Act 1985, labeled with the symbol NRX and Schedule H drug warning prominently. These contains about the list of 536 drugs. Example of these drugs are diclofenac, carbidopa, etc. One is introduced further to have a separate regulation to check unauthorized sales of antibiotics, thus monitoring use and abuse of these antibiotics. And they include the warning that it is dangerous to take this preparation except in accordance with the medical advice, not to be sold by retail without the prescription of RMP. Example, alprazolam, isoniazid, cefaxime, etc. Schedule I contains the particulars for proportion of poison in certain cases, but it is omitted. Schedule J contains the list of various diseases and conditions which a drug may not purport to prevent or cure or make claims to prevent or cure. No drugs may legally claim to treat these diseases. Example, AIDS, blindness, deafness, diabetes, etc. Schedule K basically contains the class of drugs which is not sold for medicinal use and should be labeled with conspicuously with the words not for medicinal use. They are basically the OTC medications like over-the-counter drugs. Schedule K includes quinine sulfates and other antimalarial drugs, drugs supplied by RMP to his own patients, drugs supplied by the hospitals or supported by government or local body, substance which is used both as article of food as well as drugs, household remedies. So the example of these Schedule K drugs are paracetamol tablets, analgesic balms, antacids preparations, calcium preparations with or without vitamin D, gripe water for use of infants, inhaler, etc. Schedule L is omitted while Schedule L1 is having a good laboratory practices and requirements of premises and equipments, chemicals and reagents, etc. Schedule M drugs are these includes good manufacturing practices and requirements of premises, plants, equipments of manufacturing of pharmaceutical products. These are further classified into three categories: Schedule M1, M2, M3. M1 prescribes in details requirements of factory premises for the manufacturing of homeopathic drugs, same while M2 and M3 includes cosmetic and medical devices respectively.
Schedule N contains the list of minimum equipments for the efficient running of a pharmacy. It gives the direction of pharmacy regarding entrance of pharmacy, premises, furnitures and apparatus, general provisions. Entrance shall bear an inscription pharmacy in front.
Schedule O deals with the provision applicable to disinfectant fluids. These are in two parts, part 1, part 2. These contains the provision applicable to black and white fluids and other disinfectants. Black fluids includes homogeneous dark brown solutions of coal tar acids or similar acids. White fluids includes finely dispersed homogeneous emulsions of coal tar acids or similar acids. Schedule P. It deals with the life period of drugs and the condition of the storage of drug. Periods in months between date of manufacture and date of expiry. The schedule includes antibiotic, vitamins, insulin preparations, normal human plasma, serotoxins, toxoids, other toxins, antitoxins, miscellaneous drugs. You can see the example that the drug is given here and life period is a 30 month and it should be stored in a cool place.
Schedule P1 specifies the pack size of certain drugs. It gives the names of drugs along with the dosage forms and pack size. No other pack size than one listed is allowed to be marketed. Example, aspirin should be in a tablet dosage form, including 14 tablets in a one strip.
Q gives the list of dyes, colors and pigments permitted to be used in cosmetics and soaps. No drug should contain a color other than a specified drug like Bureau of Indian Standards below. You can see the example. The natural colors it contains carotene, chlorophyll, red oxides of iron, yellow oxides of iron, titanium dioxides, black oxides of iron. Artificial color should contain caramel and coal tar color should be used. R contains the standards for condoms made of rubber latex intended for single use and other mechanical contraceptives. Example condom, copper T, etc. These should having a label with a date of manufacture, date up to which the contraceptive is expected to retain its property. Schedule R1. These contains the standards for medical devices and the following medical devices shall conform to the Indian standards specifications laid down from time to time by the Bureau of Indian Standards. These should be sterile disposable perfusion sets for single use only, sterile disposable hypodermic syringe for single use only, sterile disposable hypodermic needles for single use only. As prescribes standards for cosmetics. The following cosmetics in finished form should be confirmed of the specifications laid down from time to time by the Bureau of Indian Standards like BIS. These include the skin powders, tooth powder, toothpaste, shaving creams, hair creams, shampoos and nail polish. Schedule T lays down the good manufacturing practices for Ayurvedic, Siddha and Unani medicines. These are in two parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1 includes good manufacturing practices. Part 2 includes list of recommended machineries, equipments and minimum manufacturing premises required for the manufacture of various categories of Ayurvedic, Siddhas and systems of medicine. Schedule U and UN. These gives the particulars to be shown in manufacturing records, gives the particulars to be recorded of raw materials, gives the particulars to be recorded in analytical records. The records or registers shall be retained for a period of 5 years for drugs and 3 years for cosmetics from the date of manufacture. Schedule V give the details of standards for patent and proprietary medicines. This includes the name of the drugs which shall be marketed under generic names only. Its label contains the names and quantities of an active ingredients. This includes only 5 drugs that shall be marketed under generic names only like analgin, aspirins and its salts, chlorpromazines and its salts, ferrous sulfates, and piperazine and its salts. Schedule X. These contains the list of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substance. Have a warning mentioned on a label Schedule X drugs with a warning to be sold on retail on prescriptions of a RMP only. The label will also have a symbol NRX in red and conspicuously displayed on the top left corner. After dispensing the drug, the pharmacist must stamp and retain the prescription for 2 years, maintain and record purchase and sale of the drug, and preserve it for a period of 2 years for the date of transaction. From the date of transactions, all the regulations of Schedule H apply. The drugs must be kept under the lock and key. Example of Schedule X drugs are amobarbital, amphetamines, etc. Schedule Y includes requirements and guidelines for permissions to import and or manufacture of new drug for sale or to undertake clinical trials. Includes applications for permissions of clinical trials, for approval of trials, responsibility of sponsor, investigators, ethic committees for phases 1, 2, 3, 4, and for studies in special populations like geriatric, pediatric, and pregnant nursing women, post-marketing surveillance. Means all these are included in Schedule Y, that how we can carry out the clinical trials and how we can take the permission for this.
Thank you for watching. Hope you understand the lessons of drug schedule.